President WTC Shamshabad and Vishakhapatnam. Dr. Bose K. Nair is here. Please come, sir. I would like to invite Ms.Tripti Chakravorthy, Assistant General Manager, Trade Promotion and Marketing, World Trade Center, Mumbai. I would like to invite Mr. Anand Kulkarni, Founder Director, Dyota. Warm welcome, sir. A warm welcome to you. And finally, I would like to invite to join this August panel, Founder CEO Bayer, Ms. Shibani Jain.
Very good afternoon. We had a very interesting panel discussion just before this. Was related to the consumer choice and consumer designs. And of course, before we actually start this session, as a moderator, I would like to know and I would like to request all the panelists, including the chairman, to introduce themselves so that the audience can know who exactly they are and what exactly we are going to talk about. So I start from my right, ma'am.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tripti Chakravorthy from the World Trade Center, Mumbai. I am the Assistant General Manager for Trade Research Programs. So I will be talking on the capacity building through training through our World Trade Center education programs.
Thank you, Tripti. We would like to have the introduction of Bose Nair, sir.
Good evening to all of you. I am Bose Nair. I am the President of the World Trade Center, Shamshabad and Vishakhapatnam. Prior to that, I was with the World Trade Center, Mumbai, as a Joint Director. Then moved to World Trade Center, Bangalore, to set up the World Trade Center in South. That's Bangalore, Kochi and Chennai. Now I recently taken charge as the President of the World Trade Center, Shamshabad. I am also heading the Asia Pacific Trade Service of the World Trade Centers Association, New York. Thank you very much.
I'm Shibani Jain. I am the founder of BioDesign, and we are an interior styling and design consultancy firm. We also have our own stores, and we work with Indian artisans extensively to bring their products into marketplaces and premium homes and corporate institutions.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this quick introduction of all the panelists we have here. So we are going to talk about the capacity building towards export and trade competitiveness. First of all, let us talk about the background. So when we talk about the vision and mission of the government of India led by Mr. Narendra Modi, we are talking about some important aspects like vocal for local. We are talking about the 5 trillion economy for 2025. We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India. We are talking about the export competitiveness, especially the export competitiveness of the MSMEs. We are talking about how we sensitize our MSMEs, the artisans in the rural areas, the handicrafts artisans in the rural areas, how they can how can they be made aware of how this capacity building among themselves with regard to the export procedures and documentation can be made. So I would like to first of all talk to Tripti. So how World Trade Center Mumbai is taking up measures in terms of creating awareness, capacity building, and hand-holding the MSMEs towards exports. Tripti, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So, as we are all aware, we're living in times which are very dynamic, and due to policy regulations, due to quality standard changes, due to geopolitics, And the entrepreneur has always to adapt his business to such changes. And the only way out to meet the ever-changing requirements, one has to train. And so World Trade Center took upon itself to roll out a number of trade education programs. So we have our institute, which is now called as the World Trade Center Mumbai Academy of Foreign Trade, which was initially called as the World Trade Institute, which got established in 1991. And we started off the first of the training programs, which is called Postgraduate Diploma in Foreign Trade, which is our flagship program. It trains entrepreneurs, it trains startups in subject matters that are important when doing cross-border trade. Then we got on to introducing the postgraduate diploma in Forex and risk management, which is mainly for people who are into fund managers, who are in cross-border trade, investments, and portfolio management and such. So thereafter, we went on to bring out a number of other smaller courses. So we had a small course, which is a shorter version of the postgraduate diploma in foreign trade, which is called the certificate course in export-import business. And this was mainly for people who were having a paucity of time, and but however needed to skill themselves with you know, the kind of skill sets required to run a business. As you're aware that India and China has a lot of trade going on between it. The volume of trade is very high. So World Trade Center thought it necessary to bring out a language course. And we call it the Basic Chinese Practical Business Conversations course, enabling students to converse in the basic Chinese, which is Mandarin, for the purpose of business. Shortly after that, we rolled out the course, which is a little advanced course in the Chinese. That also did it very well. It was a little more advanced to the basic course. Then we had a number of management development programs, which teach topical issues. So we had programs on packaging, we had export-import documentation, and such. Then we also had global market access programs, where you know, students and entrepreneurs could reach out to new and emerging markets through such programs. So we had programs, the GMAP as it is called. We did it on European Union, we did it on the Latin American, Caribbean, we did it on ASEAN, we did it on Eastern European markets and such, where we call consul generals, where they came and made various presentations on the opportunities that await businesses wanting to do business in those countries. And of course, our faculty are experts in the industry. They have you know, real-time knowledge, hands-on, several years of hands-on experience, and they have very well taught students various subjects on international trade, such as you know, the foreign trade policy, export, exim finance, logistics, custom procedures, which are very important in doing business. And I would urge each one of you to consider doing these programs just to get an edge in your business. So we are rolling out the postgraduate diploma in foreign trade, the next batch, which is on April 25th. So those who are interested, please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help you. So with these few words, I hand over the mic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tripti. It was like the kind of activities that are being taken up for capacity building in export documentation procedures, and other very important aspects related to international trade. So World Trade Center is doing a wonderful job in this regard to see that the export competitiveness of the Indian industry especially goes up by leaps and bounds. I would like to ask the gentleman on my left, Dr. Bose Nair, who has spent his major part of his life in World Trade Center in different positions in different parts of the country. Dr. Bose, I would like to know why we feel that still, though we contribute 40% of our total exports are coming from MSME sector, but still we see the MSME sector is not up to that particular mark, though it has got its potentiality in terms of exports, but could not reach to that particular level, that benchmark. What could be the reasons and what could be the solutions?
Thanks, Mr. Reddy. Maybe I'll start with, where Tripti entered. Now, the capacity building is mainly what we look into, the existing system, what we have, what way we can improve upon in various ways. Now, we all say 40% of the exports or otherwise the MSME is the backbone of the economy and all. These are good things to say. But there are a lot of areas where we can improve upon. One, maybe the trade education part of it, what Tripti mentioned. See, World Trade Center play a different role. It is not like any other universities or otherwise the academic institution what they pay or the Chamber of Commerce. Normally, whenever we launch a program, we do a gap analysis. Just to quote you, what Tripti mentioned, there is a reason for introducing the postgraduate diploma in foreign trade here. I was with the Ministry of Commerce earlier. When I was working with the Ministry of Commerce, there is prior to liberalization, maybe Mr. Deshpande may be knowing that. That time it was a very cumbersome procedure just to clear the export-import consignment, goods, and the layman cannot understand what really the policy procedures, what is the exchange control regulation, that type of It's okay, thanks to our liberalization, LPG movement, we made most of the things simple. But if you look into for the middle management cadre or in the clerical cadre, what we used to say 20 years back, the awareness it is lacking, how to do it. Then we always look into the consultancy who can make things more complicated rather than simplifying it, and which we start unnecessarily blaming the custom officers or the government officials, etc. There should be an end to it. That was one of the reasons why we started this type of course, which working executives can undergo and can understand, not the typical like the postgraduate diploma or the MBA courses what they give, only to the hard course subject what we is giving it. Now, World Trade Center play a vital role in capacity building. How? One, the World Trade Center is a unique organization. We always believe supplementing or complementing the activities of the other organization. We don't compete with. Now, what is our USP? Our USP is mainly we have 320 branch offices across the globe. This is the only one organization which can connect you if you are dreaming about export just to the business community. But now you are taking this type of facilities. See, World Trade Center known for one is iconic infrastructure supported with a value-added services. I am not here as a marketer for the World Trade Center, just mainly creating an awareness part of it. Now here how we play, now we will be in a position to connect you to any country if you are already selected your groundwork. This is a country what I am looking for, a focus country. We will be in a better position to connect you. We will be in a better position to arrange for a panel discussion, debate without interference of the political cloud, because these organizations are a non-political, not-for-profit organization, where the think tankers debate and come to a conclusion. These are the things what is to be looked into by the government. Got it? Now, wherein it is bringing to the attention of the policy makers, we play a vital role. Because it is from the experts, it is not any scheme of the government which may be favorable for one industry may have adverse effect to another industries too. We have to balance it. That's why World Trade Center play a vital role. Maybe doing experts like who work, having a very good work experience. Deshpande worked with the World Trade Center Mumbai for a long time as an advisor. We look into a critical analysis part of it. Then we don't do a post office job. Whatever we got it. Now coming back to capacity building, one maybe way of trade education, trade information, arranging face-to-face meeting, business-to-business meeting, maybe a policy suggestion. We also do a comparative study. The developed countries, what they are doing, why can't we look into adopt that type of policies, procedures or the schemes in India just to, which will be more business friendly as such. Now unfortunately coming to the MSME part of it, still it is working on isolation. Now the cluster movement, if you take it, or maybe town of excellence if you take it, one product, one city if you take it, these are the good, but it is still not, there is it takes time, it's happening, but it's not happening the way it should. But luckily, where central and the state government have a very good coordination, there it is working much more faster than the other states part of it. That is the only, most of the schemes what we have, we copied from the other countries without understanding whether is it practically possible or visible to country. Now, look into the SEZ concept. We copied from China. China, if you look into one SEZ, the city of Mumbai is one SEZ, where the production is too high, volume, but definitely the unit price will be entirely very less. Maybe last time in Bangalore we were telling what the government should look into, provide good infrastructural facilities, where the transaction cost should be minimized, one. Of course, to some extent, nowadays government interference in the businessman's activities are reduced to a large extent. All the organizations like Ni-MSME, what they are doing, its Chamber of Commerce, Export Promotion Council, the World Trade Center, even the government officials who are into export, act as a facilitator rather than a controller or otherwise a vigilance department as such. The third thing, what I am concerned or what I have seen in Bangalore, if you take it, there are quite a Pinia Industries Association is a very big. Pinia Industrial Estate is one of the Asia's largest industrial estates. Unfortunately, that industrial estate is not doing well. The reason is they are not ready to adopt the new technology. Now the technology, it changes very fast. If you don't catch, then you are obsolete. And second thing, maybe if it is a family business, the taste or the passion of father or a grandfather is not the same with the the grandchildren. In that case, you have to look into, in the changing scenario, what is to be what type of business model we have to look into, what type of products what we have to look into, what type of services the consumer need. It is not like it's okay, I have this, if you want, you take it, no, leave it. You first do a groundwork, what really, where there is a gap, what can be looked into, then make accordingly to the need of the community or the customer part of it. If that groundwork the MSME does it, I think so we can really do wonder. I really my previous speaker what she was telling. Now most of the schemes what you have, maybe the application for that, eligibility etc. Now it is very, very transparent. You can look into, even approachable to. Now most of the government officers work as a facilitator and they do a lot of things. But we should take advantage of it. If we take advantage of it, definitely we can do wonder. The youngsters part of it, yes, don't jump into unless and until you do your groundwork. First, you have to always, in the corporate or the MBA, what you learn, gap analysis, you look into. Where there is a room for you, catch it at right time. Take decision. Any decision, if you take it, there is a risk involved. But it should be appetite. You should be in a position to digest that. Don't take a risk which you cannot afford, or otherwise it is too big a burden for you. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. You have given a very clear-cut information to the audience that, of course, technology upgradation, taking the support of the government, making MSMEs understand the real crux in the international market, documentation procedures. The things have definitely changed. I am from Ministry of MSME. There are so many schemes most of the people have not heard about. Like there is market development assistance is there. There is international cooperation under which this present program is going on. Actually, one of the main objective of this particular program is to see that you bring international delegates from different parts of the world and share their experiences, put forth the case studies of those respective countries, especially the developing countries, and understand what are the opportunities we have, and they also can identify the opportunities to trade with. So all these things, they are very, very important. And there are, under international cooperation scheme itself, there are buyer and seller meets organized in different parts of the world. And most of the chambers of commerce will organize these events in different parts of the world where the Indian sellers go there, exhibit their products, and interact with the local traders, right? And try to understand the significance of Indian products. Now it's time to talk to one more person. We have Anand Kulkarni ji. Sir, I would like to know, sir, are you from textile background?
I am from life coaching and business.
Life coaching business, okay.
Family run businesses.
Okay. So you are from Mumbai itself. Yeah. So Mumbai earlier, as you know, that Surat and Mumbai, someone was telling in the morning in the inaugural session where the cotton capitals and the textile capitals of the country, Manchester of the East, all these words we have heard about Surat, about Mumbai and so on. And there are so many family-run businesses which were from Mumbai, which were into textile business, and unfortunately now they are not doing well, except one or two, if I am not correct. So what should be the measures in textile sector, especially the handloom sector? What measures should be taken up so that not only domestically they will be doing very well, but also they can penetrate into the international market and get into international, can reach to the markets of international markets, and the international customers can accept our products. So what measures you feel, you foresee, so that our students from NIFT can definitely get into entrepreneurship, can get into manufacturing, get into design, and can definitely promote their products not only in domestic market but also in international market.
Very good. Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. I will begin this with a small couplet in Hindi. खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है. What is the meaning of this? Make yourself so much capable that the Almighty will come to your doorstep and ask you, what is it that you want, my son?
Yeah.
So this capability building aspect, if we keep in mind, I'm sure each one of us here can help the sector grow to the next level. During lunch hours, I was just discussing with a couple of students. And he said, I have a legacy of almost about 100 years. My great-grandfathers used to do certain things. So these artisans which were there in the initial days and which are there in this proud country, India, I'm sure we have a lot to give to the world. In the last panel discussion, actually, Madam Savita was just sharing, with tremendous amount of passion, there is a story to tell. Are we good storytellers? Now there is a generation gap which is being created, particularly for the ages of 100 years back the business has started, or 200 years back the business has started, and today. The current generation is not interested in the business. That's what Sir also mentioned a few minutes back. Why are they not interested? Why is that generation gap being created? If we are able to understand and address these nuances to the core, I'm sure things will be definitely conducive. Dear friends, you need to understand what is capability building. Is it only taking degrees and certificates courses? Yes, they form an important and integral part as a door opener. But what is important is how is your attitude towards the work? How are you empowering the artisans who have got tremendous amount of talent in them? These people are not vocal. They are not the ones who are going to give you PowerPoint presentations. They are not the ones who are having the skill set of good communications. In that situation, here is a great opportunity for all the students sitting here. I want you all to think from the angle of how can I empower my artisan in the country? Can I try to feed him with tremendous amount of knowledge of how he should develop his product and not how he should market? Philip Kotler, the marketing guru, says that there are 4 P's that are important: product, placement, price, and positioning. Now instead of these 4 P's, he himself has realized, can it be converted to a formula named as SAVE? Now what does SAVE stand for? You as individuals should help the artisans understand this. If they don't understand, do it on their behalf. Because this rich culture of this country has to survive. And you will have a story to tell. What does this SAVE stand for? SAVE stands for, the first one is, whatever products are being produced should be solution oriented. How is it a solution to the problem that the world is facing? How is it a solution to the problem that a particular community is facing, or a particular city is facing? If you are able to understand what is the solution that is provided by this particular product, I am sure positioning becomes powerful. The second one is accessibility and availability. Can you make the product accessible and available? And you as business owners or entrepreneurs should think from the angle of, can I be a solution provider? Can I be a person who can make it available? Can I be a distribution network creator? Can I be a platform creator? With the digital marketing coming in place now, that you can be an aggregator. That's accessibility and availability. The third is, does your product create value? The artisan doesn't know what is the value of his product. Can you as an individual help him understand the value? I was stunned when I saw that sari actually costing 30,000 rupees. 40,000, I'm sorry. I was just thinking it would cost somewhere about 5 to 7,000, nothing more than that. But the story behind it is all that matters. When it is said that this has been created, hand-wound and this and that, and all those things in a sequential manner, if it is done, it is creating value for the product. Are you as an entrepreneur creating that value for the artisan is what is the question that you need to ask. And last but not the least, my dear friends, very important is we all need to position this through the education that we provide. That is E. So the 4 P's are no longer enough. You need to think from the angle of SAVE. Is the product solution oriented? Is the product accessible and available? Is it creating value? And last but not the least, am I educating my people? Am I creating awareness? Dr. Visweswara just mentioned few minutes back that there are a variety of government schemes which are available, but we are not in a position to utilize them. If we as educated people are not able to understand, just imagine the plight of the artisan. Can you be an aggregator between the government and the artisan and try to help him understand this scheme will help you generate good amount of wealth for yourself? And my dear friends, metro cities are no longer the place to work or place to do entrepreneurship. It is tier 2, tier 3 cities which are going to talk of volumes of creating wealth for yourself and also the wealth for the artisans. So capacity building in all these aspects plays a very vital role, in my opinion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very well articulated, very well said. Now, one question to all the audience, especially the students. Sir is talking about two important things. How many of you are risk takers here? How many of you would love to take risk? Just raise your hand. Risk takers. I could not see the girls in the last. How many of you feel that I should take risk, I should become an entrepreneur, I should create value, I should add value to the products, I should communicate the products of the artisans to the nation, to the international world? Very few hands I could see. Very, very few hands. Now slowly some hands are rising. So most of the, thank you very much, thank you. So most of us, including me, I'm a government servant. I'm sorry to say that, but I am hand-holding a lot of artisans and I have helped a lot of startups to do a proper job. So most of us are, we are averse to risk. Risk aversion is very much there, especially among the present day youngsters. And one very important acronym for SAVE. For the first time, sir, I could know this new acronym. It's very good because he's a life coach. A very beautiful acronym he has given to SAVE. Solution-oriented, accessible, value and education. You're absolutely right, sir. This is very, very important for sensitizing the artisans, especially the rural artisans, so that because they cannot communicate, their product has to communicate. But as you could see, when sari was displayed, can your product speak? Only those people who know about the product can understand what it is saying. When there is a painting, when in eBay auction, when it is auctioned, only those people who are lovers of paintings will go there and buy in millions of dollars of rupees or millions of dollars. So we, as the ambassadors of this country, we need to say that the artisans' products, their work, their skill, their sweat, their efforts, behind that work, it takes days together, months together, years together to create a particular product, right? Which we ask, kam karoge kya, discount kya deoge? But when we go to Starbucks and have a coffee for 200 rupees, 300 rupees, without asking KFC, go there, have a bucket of chicken, just spend 500 rupees without any bargaining. So as youngsters and future ambassadors of this country, you need to understand, you need to help in communicating the artisans' products to the national and international market. And that is what one of the aspects of capacity building, what we presently feel. We also have Mrs. Jain with us. Madam, you're from textile community?
I work with artisans.
Yeah. So, madam, how do you see the potentiality of the Indian textile, handlooms, and apparel sector? What kind of opportunities that are there? Of course, initially in domestic market and later in international market. I remember those days when I was studying international trade, 25, 30 years back. I know very well Hong Kong, which is now part of China and India were doing reasonably good in the international market with regard to ready-made garments. But unfortunately, of course, we are doing well even today, but that is not the position what we see. Our neighbor, Bangladesh, is doing very well. With regard to Bangladesh, is reasonably doing very well. China, of course, is the biggest competitor to India always. So how do you see, madam, the potentiality of Indian handloom and textile sector and even apparel sector in the international market, and what are the suggestions you would like to give to our young students?
So before I answer that question, I just wanted to have a little I wanted to say a little bit about what Savita said, that the things abroad are appreciated by the people there, but we don't appreciate our own crafts. And there is a reason to that. The reason is that there's no system here. There is no infrastructure, there is no power, there is no education, there is no market exposure, you name it. And the artisan doesn't have it. Whereas compare him with an artisan who sits in the US or in UK, he has all of this. And which is why he is able to sell his product at 30,000 rupees, and we are not able to sell our products at 3,000 rupees. So I just wanted to make that little point, that the climate of building the capacity starts right from the grassroots but goes right up to the government, and how this whole infrastructure is viewed and created, an environment is created that makes it conducive for people to grow in this business. To come to your question, sir, I think that Indian textiles has always had a significant market abroad. People have always noticed it. People have always wondered at the kind of textiles and the variety of textiles that we have in India. But there are pockets of textiles which have not really moved in the international circles as much as it should have. There are no big design brands who are well known internationally. And why is that, you may ask? But the answer has many reasons. And one of the reasons is that we don't think big enough. We don't want to be an international brand. We don't think that we want to be an international brand. We don't have the confidence to be an international brand. And I think that comes from the way we are brought up, the way we are made to think that, within India itself, we try to create our infrastructure. But I'm saying in things like home textiles, for example, why can't there be significant sales of home textiles? Why can't there be significant sales of art, textile art? Rohit Bal had created that absolutely amazing Tree of Life, which was auctioned at, a couple of crores maybe in one of these fancy charity dinners that were held in abroad. I see absolutely no reason that, art, home textiles, other segments other than apparels should not grow. And I think that I haven't seen these too much abroad, but, Bandhani, Leheria, your Shibori, if Shibori is doing so well internationally, why shouldn't our Bandhani and Leheria do well? Or for that matter, the kind of embroidery that these Kutch artisans do. I haven't seen that kind of work selling abroad. Why should it not sell on other categories apart from apparel and apart from garments? And I think that our ambition, our drive to be there, our drive to reach international markets matters, because when you want to be there, that's when you'll bring all these things there as well. So, I would encourage all the young students to think bigger, to think that the world is their canvas when it comes to Indian textiles and Indian handlooms. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Very wonderful and very well said. So many brands from India are doing very well internationally. But my question to you once again, how about our own handlooms, like be it Pochampalli from Telangana, be it Chanderi from Madhya Pradesh, be it Banarasi Sadi? Why still the artisans, right? I could see from one of the discussion in the previous panel discussion, an artisan could not make a good sari for his wife, but he is selling it to others, and he cannot afford. Actually, he can make, but he cannot afford to make give a sari as a gift to his wife. So the plight of the handlooms sector, especially the traditional handloom sector, where we have so many designs, beautiful colors, texture, the kind of texture we have. Like recently we have conducted a virtual shopping festival for Ladakh products, under the same scheme, international cooperation scheme under Ministry of MSME. The kind of pashmina we have in Ladakh is the world's best. the fur which is taken out of that animal, specific animal which is found only in Ladakh region. So they were so happy first time we could bring to the limelight of the international world about their pashmina. Of course, people know, but there are duplicate products, the imitations, which are very much there in the international market, right, which are going into the international market. So how do we can protect our artisans and their products and their designs? What could be the best solution? Just quickly, yeah.
So there is IPR, of course, and there is the geo tags and all that. GI tags. And, but you know, there's a lot of lack of clarity around these GI tags.
Yes.
Nobody really knows how to use these GI tags and to, you know, ensure that they stay with these artisans and they are not misused. Very recently, there was this whole Sabyasachi controversy which happened with this GI tag, and, you know, the Sanganeri print was something that he used in bringing out the H&M range. And the thing is, you know, when we study it down to the grassroots level, the GI tag is given to hundreds of patterns, and those hundreds of patterns belong to hundreds of artisans in a certain village in Sanganer. Yeah. So how do you know, if somebody makes a small change to a pattern and puts it out there, how is it going to be protected?
Yeah.
So the clarity of GI tags and and a process to make sure that, you know, it is not misused will really help artisans in the long run. If something like that can be
rightly
done.
said, madam, like you are talking about geographical indications under intellectual property rights. Most of the, like earlier the situation was bizarre, maybe 20-25 years back, but now slowly, like if you, as I am from Telangana, the Pochampalli has got GI. So like that, most of the artisans, especially the location in that particular geographical region, the artisans are there and who are making a specific design. That GI tag should be definitely given. But there is a problem, as you have rightly said, if there is a slight change in the pattern, so it overcomes that particular, like they'll try to project it as a different product. Maybe using the same design, but slightly in the process they change it. So I've studied again the concept of product patent and process patent, which was very much a problem before 1995 when World Trade Organization was formed on 1st of January. But later on, some of the loose ends were tied, some of the holes were plugged, but still there are a lot of problems. Even today, people like our turmeric, which is having antiseptic qualities, is patented somewhere in US. Though, but we know that when we used to fall on the ground and there is a wound, our mother or grandmother used to put turmeric on the wound. But unfortunately, then basmati, which is our flavored rice, was called as taxmati in Texas, and they got a patent on that. So of course, you're right, there are certain loopholes which are to be plugged in, and that is a good suggestion which you have rightly said. So one more very important aspect which has actually come into my mind, where I would like to bring in Anand Kulkarni ji. What should be the role of the younger generations? You have given a very good message to all our NIFT students who are sitting over here and the aspiring entrepreneurs, I feel.
Right, sir.
Should do and become entrepreneurs of the future, rather becoming the job holders and 9-to-5 job. So what measures they should, what should they do so that they can get into MSMEs and they get into textiles or whatever it may be, not just textiles or
whichever field,
whatever it may be. So what will be your suggestion?
Sure. Thank you, sir. Very pertinent and important question that you have raised actually. Next decade, or rather next 2 decades, are going to witness a tremendous amount of change. My father worked for an organization for 35 to 39 years of age. That many number of years he worked only with one organization, Civil Aviation Department. I continued the legacy to some extent and worked for 20 years with LIC of India, Life Insurance Corporation of India. Nowadays, the generation which is there, my son and my daughter, I don't think will continue in the job for more than 3 years in any organization. A warning to all the students sitting here. Job, unless and until you change within 2 or 3 years for your growth, or the company stops loving you. Either of the things can happen. So in order to not lose your self-confidence and self-faith or self-belief, a very important aspect is, can you be an employer? Maybe 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, you will have employees. You will have a satisfaction of feeding so many people. And here now, keeping textile in mind and all the artisans of this country in mind, there are n number of opportunities that are coming in front of you. As I told you, number one, start an aggregator for sales, aggregator for bringing all the artisans onto one place, aggregation for the purpose of selling, aggregation for the purpose of distribution via different channels, aggregation for value creation. Can you be a value expert? Just imagine a situation that there is an XYZ person actually who says that I can create value for your product. It's an out-of-box thought. But can you do that? A product developer? Can you develop a product? Because it all begins with a small idea. And if that idea can be nurtured, trust me, things will work. With the new education policy that has come up, 5-4-3-3, that the pattern that has come up actually, trust me, it can give good amount of impetus to the next generation also. I'm talking about your next generation. You people should own it as a responsibility and start entrepreneurship right from this moment. Yes, it's risky. Yes, it calls for good amount of vision that you need to keep. And yes, it needs a good amount of study, the grassroots level study of what and how you can position yourself. That's why my earnest appeal to the World Trade Organization also. These small certification courses are there. Here people apply and come to study. Can we do a reverse role? Can we try to go and offer our short-term courses of entrepreneurship or of variety of things that can happen actually with global world, trading organizations, or how a company is formed, or what are the different taxation aspects actually between the two countries. All these things, small courses can be designed, and we can approach the, schools from 8th standard onwards. If any of the student wants to pursue this particular program, he can do it. Rather than they approaching us, can we try to give them a vision? Trust me, my dear friends, as parents, the parenting also has become one of the major challenges nowadays. The basic two needs of survival and pleasure has already been given to the children. There is no struggle for survival. My generation or my father's generation were struggling for survival, my dear friends. They used to travel by by bicycle. They used to walk down miles together. Nowadays, every student, like each one of you here, just you get down off the building, actually you either have a Ola, Uber or a taxi, or maybe your own car, chauffeur-driven car. So these luxuries you are born with. So you people can take calculated risks. Why? Because already there is a base created for you all. From that base, you need to create an empire for yourself and your family. And it is easily possible. So take calculated risks. Don't be afraid. There are many government schemes that are available for you. If you don't know, ask without a mask. Corona has forced us to wear masks. I understand. But when it is to asking for knowledge, when it is asking for some certain questions, my dear friends, please do not, restrict yourself. Ask without a mask. These are all simple things that if you are able to practice, I am sure many entrepreneurs could be developed for tomorrow, sir. And these entrepreneurs are the base for this country. Coming days, you people, I am again telling you for the sake of repetition, next 2 decades are going to witness this very strongly. I have been advocating this to my son and my daughter also. Take up a job for 2-3 years, have man management skills, leadership skills and all, and then you can shift into, there is no problem. But if at all it is not, start from the scratch and start an entrepreneurship base. And you are able to do it, my dear friends. I am confident that inner zeal is there already with you. You people should work out for your passion and for your purpose. Because as I told you, survival and pleasure has already been given to you as the matter of right. Your parents have done that. हमारे ज़माने में हमको कुछ नहीं मिला, कम से कम हमारे बच्चे तो enjoy करने दो. This is the dialogue they use. We could not get it during our times. At least children of these times, let them enjoy. Free money, easy money has come up. So these all aspects are coming as a boon to you all. Can you not develop a passion for something? Can you not find out what your purpose is? Have a mission in life. I would like to establish 1,000 artisans in the next 10 years. Can that be one of the missions? And what is it that you need to do for that artisan is what you need to start thinking on. Build on that. If you don't know, ask without a mask. There are people who can support you. During our times, we did not have. I would like to tell you, I am a BSc chemistry graduate. Can you believe it? Into the finance line, very, very successful. I was one of the leading development officers of LIC of India. I have traveled entire of the country as well as abroad on the cost of whatever prizes I got from the organization. A chemistry graduate selling insurance? Because we did not have that kind of a guidance during that time. But you people, at the press of the button, you can get everything ready. Utilize it properly. And channelize your energy in such a way that you are going to be emerging victorious. And our best wishes are there with you all. And we also are there to support you. Thank you.
So these were the words of inspiration and motivation to my young students who are sitting over there. So my dear students, you might be knowing we have National Startup Innovation Policy 2019, which is getting integrated into your education system. I feel NIFT is also doing that. NIFT is very much doing that. And out of 10 startups which are getting started, there are 7 failures. But you should not see the negative side of it. There are 3 successful startups which are coming up. And you know the number of unicorns. More than 52, and we are adding more than 3 to 4 unicorns almost every year. Unicorn is something whose market valuation is more than $1 billion. And we have been doing that. India has been doing that. And we are in the top 3-4 countries which are adding unicorns every year. So this is the kind of situation that is existing. And as Anand sir has rightly said, you can take up calculated risk, which is very much possible, calculated risk. You have the backup. So work for few years, take it up, and when you are working with artisans, definitely it should be a win-win situation. They should get benefited, you should also get benefited. You provide the entire knowledge and experience and your skills to them, right? Make their products, go into the national and international market, let them make money, and you also make a part of the cake out of it, and you'll be very, very happy. Yeah.
How many of you have heard of vada pav? Please raise your hands. अच्छा लगता है खाने में, right? You all love it, right? And if somebody provides it, now you will be relishing it. I'll tell you one small concept, my dear friends, how the entrepreneurship works. Have you heard of Goli Vada Pav? Goli Vada Pav is a startup. A few days back, I had an opportunity of meeting Venkatesh Iyer, the founder of that Goli Vada Pav. He had a challenge. He's a Tambram, sir. He's a Tambram. And he has done a wonderful job. He has created not less than 300 to 400 crore business for himself. He is not operational in Mumbai because Mumbai Vada Pav's maher ghar hai, right? It is a maternal place. But he is doing it abroad. He has innovated a thought process and he has tied up with McDonald's. The vada pav inside that batata which is there, if you take it in the morning, by evening it is getting soiled. But this vada pav, this goli vada pav can remain for 9 months. So he has created a system. The McDonald's patties that is being created, he has tied up with those people. There were challenges, my dear friends. There were financial challenges. There were political challenges. There were challenges of how to retain, how to franchise it. All these things were there. But trust me, he was able to do it because he had the will to do it. So Goli Vada Pav is a live example. I would like you all to just Google it out and listen to the story of, the TED talk of this gentleman named as Venkatesh Iyer. Goli Vada Pav is the name of that. So you people also can be unicorns like that. Please do it. And I'm sure you people will be able to succeed and reach pinnacles. All the best.
Chick.
So it's time for 1 or 2 questions. I think we should take
So,
questions.
thank you very much, wonderful panelist and the moderator. Anybody has a question, raise your hand, please, for our esteemed panelist and our moderator, and I will come there with the microphone to you. Yes, sir.
Good evening all. It was in fact a pleasure listening to you all. We have imbibed so much of knowledge from you people. Thank you so much for that. Sir, I have one question that we are talking about the startup in the textile industries. So we are, targeting the audience who are pursuing, some sort of degree or research and so on. But my question is, we have so much of, rural people, okay, nomads, probably Dhangar, if I am talking about. So, can NIFT or I am Khadi or various entities who are engaged in this particular global spin trade conclave, can we not go to the place in the rural India, to the part of Dhangar and sensitize the descendants of Dhangar, त्यांची जी मुलं आहेत, कारण का they have imbibed certain qualities from their ancestors. So if you can sensitize those people, probably they are the right people to have the right kind of startup, because they are also drifting away from their rich tradition. So if we can tap those people, probably we can get ready-made people and we can have a proper startup in those areas. So, are we really thinking of, creating startups for those people?
I'll answer part of this question. I'll answer. If you see, the urbanites, most of us are urbanites, and most of the young boys and girls who are sitting are urbanites. A very good question you have actually asked. You might have heard about Jugaad, frugal innovations. Why these frugal innovations will come up? Because in rural areas, if you have to take your bath, you have to go for 1 kilometer or a half a kilometer, fetch the water from well, and you have to come. And of course, these days, because of so many schemes, Nalla Pani Ghar mein aa raha hai, the tap water is coming to the home. But still, they face a lot of problems. So you see, as per one of the survey, because of these frugal innovations, in rural areas, more startups are coming up who have experienced a lot of difficulties. Like sir was talking about a solution to a problem in his SAVE acronym. So why an entrepreneur will born? Because necessity is the mother of invention. Necessity is the mother of invention. So when there is a problem, you need to find out a solution. If already there is a solution, there will be a niche. There will be a gap. You fill that niche. So there are schemes from Ministry of MSME which are into social enterprises, social entrepreneurship concept. There is one more concept called cluster development. We have a scheme called Sfurti, SFURTI. I can also talk you during tea. I don't know whether tea is being arranged for us or not, I'm very eager to have my tea. I'm sorry. So, this is regenerating the rural traditional artisans. There is a very good scheme, wonderful scheme of Ministry of MSME called Spurti, where the rural artisans are brought into under one single roof. There will be a SPV, special purpose vehicle. All these people will be brought under the SPV. They need to contribute 25%, right? 75% grant will come from Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Then they create a common facilitation center with the machinery out of the grant which they get. And there are some soft and hard interventions which are taken up by the SPV, the nodal agency, the implementing agency and so on, technical agency and so on. So, there are schemes, like you might have heard about Khadi and Village Industries Commission. I am staying there only in their guest room, which is part of Ministry of MSME. We have MSME DI, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Institute. We have COIR board under our ministry. So there are different organizations which are actually meant for the promotion of the rural enterprises to a very great extent than in the urban areas. But unfortunately, there is a gap. We understand, as we are from ministry, we need to get into these people and we need to make them realize the importance of these schemes, supportive schemes for them.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. We will have to end here. You want to say something? Okay.
Now, what Dr. Reddy mentioned, rightly, where there is a will, there is a way. One, maybe to the youngsters, you need more open discussion with somewhat grey hairs or otherwise elderly people. One, the reason is you should look into a critical analysis. Now, everyone cannot be an entrepreneur. Each person can have its own strength, its own weakness. You have to analyze it. Opportunities are plenty and there is room for everyone. You have to grab it at right time, at right place. And don't compare you with your friend circle or neighbor, etc. You are a unique person. Accept that. Maybe if parents says, maybe with experience part of it, definitely 99%, you will not accept it. Then better take maybe an elderly person as a mentor, as a guide, as a friend. I may put it as a friend, bro. Then start, bro or sister, then discuss with them. Openly you tell, this is what your passion, this is what you are looking for. And maybe they may be in a position to tell you what is the plus point, what is the minus point. Whether will you fit into that hole. Or otherwise you may have to look for a second option, third option. Don't go only with the mental block, no, I will do it this only. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would now like to acknowledge and thank our panelists, our moderators. May I invite Sri Alok Kumarji, please, to give away certain mementos to our guest. Thank you, Alokji. May I invite you on the stage. You will give away the mementos to our guest. First to Ms. Shibani Jain, founder and CEO, Bayer. Yeah, you can come here, ma'am. Thank you. And you can wait here so you can get a good picture. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Please carry on. I'll also request you, sir, to kindly give to Dr. I beg your pardon, Dr. Reddy. To Dr. Reddy? Dr. Bose Nair, sorry. We'd like to acknowledge Dr. Bose Nair, President, World Trade Council, Shamshabad and Vishakhapatnam, for your presence here today. Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. We would like to acknowledge Dr. Reddy, now, sir, you got holiday. Thank you, Alokji. Now I'll request Dr. Reddy, you come here to facilitate the next person. To please facilitate Tripti ji, Ms.Tripti Chakravorthy, Assistant General Manager, Trade Promotion and Marketing World. Thank you, sir. And finally to Anand Kulkarni ji, Founder, Director, Dyota. We'd like to acknowledge you for your presence here, please. Dr. Nigam, congratulations, thank you so much. I request all of you to stand for a group photograph, please. Yes, ji, please join them. Thank you, sir. I invite Sonia ji to please come and join in the group photograph. Thank you. Everybody stand for a picture. First time. Big round of applause to our panelists, our final session, capacity building towards export and trade competitiveness. Wonderful. Thank you. We had a great day, ladies and gentlemen. All those who are going to be here tomorrow, I would mostly welcome you, and I hope you had a wonderful day yourselves. Good evening and have a wonderful evening. And many congratulations. Mr. Karthik Raichura, may I invite you, sir, please. Wow, superb. Thank you, sir. That is Mr. Karthik Raichura. Give him a big round of applause as he receives his memento for his wonderful presence here today. Thank you. Thank you very much.